C.3, more rules on request mapping. In this one, we continue from the previous video, but we add a few more rules. All right, so first, let's look at multiple URL mapping. Yeah. So multiple URL. So first, the direct understanding. So one method in a controller, we can use multiple different URL pieces. One special piece, the piece is different part because part of it, right? Inheritance, remember, inheritance, we connect multiple pieces. Yeah. But for this particular method, we can use several different substrings in the URL to call this method. That's the meaning. All right, so let me show you one example. How to map multiple URLs to one method. Yeah. The value attribute can accept using array of URL mappings. Array, string array. Okay, that's simple, that's straightforward. So you pass a string array to that value attribute. Value attribute we know we can omit. If we like, we don't have to write a value equal. We can omit. Remember that kind of annotation we call it single value annotation, right? Yeah, so we learned before, single value annotation. Yeah. All right, so let's look at that simple example. In this one, string array, we use a pair of curly braces to define that array of strings. 3 strings in the array, 3 elements. Yeah. So then you can see, each one we can, each one we can call this method. Yeah. Slash, so that means, after slash nothing. Okay? After slash nothing, yeah, so this method is, can be called. Then home, yeah, we need to inherit from the, previous parts, then add this home. Dashboard, and so on. Yeah. So you can understand the meaning easily. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Then we need to look at the precedence rule for URL mappings. Precedence rule. Yeah. I mentioned in the previous video, but we look at the details here. How to resolve conflict. If one URL pattern can match multiple methods, which method should be called first? Which method takes the precedence call? Yeah, that's the meaning. Yeah. All right. A URL may satisfy multiple patterns. Yeah. Need some precedence rule to resolve the mapping. General principle. When you resolve the mapping using one general rule here. Now, what's that general principle? The most specific mapping wins. Most specific. Mapping with more information, more specific. Okay? Yeah. After you see a few examples, you can understand the meaning of this most specific mapping wins. So we need to see some examples here. Yeah. All right, so 4 methods in this way. Yeah. So look at the URL pattern part. URL pattern part. Yeah. These patterns. All right. Now, given URL, which one should be mapped? I show you 3 examples here. Yeah. All right. And here, yeah, this is least special, yeah, because you match the view after view, star everything after view. So this gives the least specific among all others, among all patterns here, yeah. Because second one, you have more specific information, right? .json, more specific information. This one you have ID, so more specific. This one, others, you have more specific, but that one least specific. Yeah, so you get idea here. Yeah. Now, examples. The first one, if the UI pattern given in this way, which one you should map? First, let's check. The first one matched, right? Matched. Second one, .json, matched. Third one, ID, no, because ID, yeah, does not match the other part. Other star map it, right? So 3 matched. Which one is the most specific one, right? Most specific one. So we can remove that. Least specific, we can. So now we need to choose one between these two. These two. One is at the end part, .json. The other at the front part. We treat front part matching more important. The front part matching more important than end part matching. Okay? Front part matching takes the precedence than the end part matching. So based on that, the last one should be the method to call. Okay? So look at that. Yeah. Do not get confused. So look at that. Yeah. All right. Number 2, ID. Yeah. This time ID, yeah, only the first one and this one, but the first one least specific. So only this one is used. Yeah. Because the method is here. Yeah. It is called. Third example, abc.json. So you can see definitely this one should be called, right? abc.json. Yeah. Right. So you can see after you understand this rule, it's pretty straightforward. You need to get used to it. Yeah. Yeah. Just use these examples. Just use these examples. You pretty much understand the whole idea. Yeah. Next, HTTP request method restriction. Yeah. So now we add more and more details into that request mapping annotation. HTTP request method. How many HTTP request method we can map? Now I think everybody knows get method, right? Post method. Later we will use put method, delete method. Okay? Yeah. And then there are 2 more other methods, but rarely used. Yeah. These 4 methods later we will use. Yeah. But most frequently the first 2 methods. All right. Here, this slide, we can specify which HTTP method we want to match. Okay? Yeah. 2 HTTP method to select. Okay? Yeah. Get and post. All right. Sometimes we may like to apply restrictions on methods. Yes. Remember, do get, do post. They have different properties. Right? So sometimes we want to do data communication using different HTTP methods. So we need to select from those 2 methods. Yeah. To do that, how do we select, right? Yeah. In the request mapping annotation, how do we select? Look at examples. All right. In these examples, pretty simple. So look at attribute, all right, other than the value attribute. Value equals double quotes add, we use another attribute, method attribute. Method attribute equals this constant, request method dot get, request method dot post, constant. You specify the constant in this way. Then you select. Okay? You can see the method name the same, add form method. Both same name, the method. But two versions. The first one corresponds to the get HTTP method. The second one corresponds to post HTTP method. All right. Now, URL pattern to call these two methods. We use the same URL pattern like this. Account, mapping the controller class, account, slash, add. See? Match both. Which one we should call? Case 1, using get method. Get method, so the first, add a form. Oh, yeah, the name is different, sorry. Yeah, I saw the name. Yeah, name different. Yeah, right? Yeah, but, yeah. I remember I said the same name. Yeah, different names. All right, add a form name method is called, first case. Second one, post. Here you can see the same URL pattern. We can call two different methods. Two different methods. How do you get that difference, right? How do you select which method to call? Because when we send the URL request, you have a chance to specify get a method and a post a method, right? You have a chance to specify which method. Because get method is the default one. Get method is the default one. If you do not specify any method, then you use the get method. If you need to use the post method, you need to specify method equals post. Do you know how to specify post the get method? Do you know that? Yeah, very basic. Yeah, if I have chance later, if I, when I explain some questions, I will explain that part. Okay. All right, next. Class level method restriction. At class level, we can also put restriction. Class, that's the controller level, right? Controller level, if we do not specify method restriction, any method, we can call this controller. But now we can put the method restriction. Here, let me just show you the example. Very straightforward. Yeah. Class level, method level. Similar logic, so you can understand. Is check it against the class level restriction first, then method level. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because the order, the request processing order, coming from controller level, class level, controller level, and the class level, the same thing, then the method level. Okay, all right, so here, if it makes it pass these restrictions, it is then checked against the method level. Yeah, so that's our natural understanding. Yeah, all right, simple example. Yeah, class level, you can see we specify using a string, curly braces. Method equals an array of string. Yeah, because this request method dot get, request method dot post, string constant. String constant. We just use string constant. Okay, we use this notation for string constant. Yeah, so you assign a string array to this method attribute. Okay, all right. So there, here it means only get method and post method can call this controller. Other put method, delete method cannot call this controller. Okay, so that's the meaning. Then, when you get into the controller, then get method to call the first method. Post method call the second method. Very natural. Okay, all right. Next, content type restrictions. So this time, content type, the next one. Content type, send the data back to the front end, client side, front end. So we can specify content type. What content do we want to send it back? Yeah, you have a chance to specify that. Also very straightforward. Yeah. Using the content type header. We know response, HTTP response, there is a content type header. HTTP response object has this content type header. Okay, we can set. Yeah. But here, the way to set, because, so here the issue is HTTP request also has the content type header. So different. Request, content type. Response, going back, also content type. Yeah. So we have a chance to set both. Yeah. Here, let me use one simple example. One simple example to show you setting both content type headers. Specify request content type header. Use the consumes element. Consumes attribute element. Okay. Produces, consume. Yeah. Request header, we consume data, right? Yeah. Response, going back, we produce data, right? Yeah. From the name, you can see which one corresponds to request, which one corresponds to response. Yeah. Pretty straightforward. Yeah. Example. All right. Value song, then content type. Content type should match. Okay. Yeah. This, using string array, these two different. Yeah. Produce also these two. Yeah. Consumes content type. Multiple content types. Produces multiple content types. Yeah. So you get idea. Yeah. Pretty straightforward. Yeah. All right. So from this video, you can see we add more details in our annotation tag at request mapping. So you can do a lot of things. All right, so let me stop here. Our video C.3.